Madame la chancelière, à titre de directeur de l'école de cinéma Mel Oppenheim, j'ai l'insigne honneur de vous présenter Monsieur Denis Villeneuve, Monsieur Villeneuve s'est distingué par sa grande créativité et ses remarquables réalisations dans le domaine du cinéma. Né dans la ville de Gentilly, près de Trois-Rivières, au Québec, d'une mère au foyer et d'un père notaire, le jeune Denis peut apercevoir de chez lui les traces de deux institutions, une église et une centrale nucléaire. Decades later, the tension between these two poles of power during Quebec's quiet revolution, religion and technology, would inform his two most commercially successful films, the adaptation of Frank Herbert's science fiction novel Dune and its sequel, Dune Part 2. The sequel, which was released on March 1st to critical acclaim, stands as 2024's highest grossing film at over $700 million worldwide. By the time he was in high school, Denis had earned the nickname Spielberg after one of his directing heroes. Yet another major influence was the cinema of the silent era. He has said, I quote, "If I could have made movies without dialogue, it would have been paradise. I recall movies because of the ideas that unfold through images." Son approche visuelle distincte et inventive du cinéma s'impose dès ses premiers longs métrages en langue française, dont Un 32 août sur Terre, Maelstrom, puis surtout Polytechnique et Incendies. Des films acclamés par la critique, jusqu'à ces films américains tels Sicario, Arrival, Blade Runner 2049 et les deux parties de Dune qui ont tous connu un grand succès au box-office. Denis Villeneuve est un des rares cinéastes au monde capables de faire du cinéma d'auteur à l'échelle des blockbusters et donc d'imposer sa vision et sa signature singulière sur des films au budget colossaux. Denis Villeneuve's films have been nominated for 5 Oscars, 5 British Academy of Film and Television Awards, and 2 Golden Globes. They have been screened at many of the world's most prestigious film festivals. In December 2019, he was awarded the Director of the Decade Prize by the Hollywood Critics Association. At the Canadian Screen Awards, he has won 7 times in competitive categories, including 4 for directing, and just last week, he was presented the Academy Icon Award for his incredible career. Madame la chancelière, au nom du conseil d'administration et du Sénat de l'université, j'ai le privilège et l'honneur de vous présenter Monsieur Denis Villeneuve afin que vous lui décerniez un doctorat ès Beaux-Arts honoris causa.
wow, wow. How great it is to have such a great person with us tonight. Now, I ask Dr. Villeneuve to present his address.
Thank you. Madame la chancelière, Monsieur le recteur, invité d'honneur, chers diplômés, parents et amis. Madame Collat, je me souviens très bien de vous. Bravo pour votre doctorat honorifice ce soir. Congratulations to you, madame. I'm very impressed by your achievement, madame. Cet honneur me touche tout particulièrement. C'est important pour moi d'être ici avec vous ce soir. Je suis ici pour vous. En toute confidence, j'ai tout spécifiquement rêvé dans ma jeunesse d'étudier en cinéma à Concordia. Ce rêve me semblait à l'époque hors d'atteinte. The truth is that at the time, my dream slipped through my fingers because I lacked courage. Back then, my English was even worse than it is now, if that's even possible. I didn't feel I had the strength to pursue cinematographic studies in a language other than French. I was already making major changes in my life. First, I quit science studies to go into cinema. I also moved from the countryside to Montreal. I remember as if it was yesterday, attending Concordia's year-end public screening in 1987. That year, André Turpin and Arto Paragamian were showing their first short films, respectively Comme hier matin and Across the Street. And I remember being blown away by their skill and poetry. I remember saying to myself, this is where it's happening. These guys are real filmmakers. I was unveiling them. As I evolved as a director, most of the filmmakers I work with in Quebec were from Concordia. Cinematographers André Turpin, Yves Bélanger, Pierre Gill, and José Dehaye, editors Sophie Leblond and Richard Comeau, production designer Patrice Vermette, to name a few. I always felt like the outsider in a tribe of Concordians. Finally, today at last, I feel like a member of the band. Thank you. Thank you for this honor, Concordia, for making one of my old dreams come true. And now, as a fellow Concordian, I can now share with you some thoughts. When I finished my cinematographic studies, like you today, I was more of a dreamer than anything else. I had no real grip on reality. I felt like a tourist in my own life. I felt I had absolutely no control over my existence. That precise feeling of powerlessness was very strong. The world was under nuclear threat. Civil war was raging in Lebanon and many countries. Chernobyl had exploded the year before. Reality was too big and frightening. Later, I understood that every generation deals with its own challenges, and each generation feels like it's worse than ever. So, from my perspective, at that time, times were bleak. But something brought me hope. It's going to be a bit melodramatic, but I'm a film director, so I'm In 1987, Gorbachev and Reagan signed the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty. It was a mind-blowing achievement because at that time, the world nuclear arsenal was made of more than 60,000 thermonuclear warheads. Remember that a single one of these thermonuclear bombs was 100 to 1,000 times more powerful than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. The story behind that treaty is the following. Reagan decided to do something about that madness because he had been traumatized by a film. A movie named The Day After. The Day After, directed by Nicholas Meyer, was a depiction of the aftermath of a nuclear attack on civilians. The impact of that movie made such a strong impression on the President of the United States that he decided to take action and call his Russian counterpart, Mikhail Gorbachev. Art can influence the world. Art exists as a critical reflection of our society and our behaviors. It can provoke change in mentalities. If cinema can be, and of course, it's a fine art celebration, but I'm going to be a bit biased now. If cinema can be used for propaganda in a negative way, the opposite is absolutely possible. Cinema is a power for change. I believe that one of today's challenges as a filmmaker and artist is to imagine ourselves in a better world with a hopeful future. Creative people have the power and the duty to imagine our future and to project humanity's survival. Now is the time to create, to foresee a world where humanity sees its path toward peace and freedom for all. We need protopian vision, acid dystopie au cinéma. There are ways to find universal peace. There are ways to rebalance the environment. There are ways to redistribute the riches. There are ways to end injustice. We have to find them. You need to find them, reveal them to us all. I believe cinema is the most powerful art form ever created, in part because it is the one that is the closest to the experience of dreaming. Dreams are projection into the unknown. Cinema can help us to foresee that future. With open heart and open mind, it will be possible. I thank you. I congratulate you. My plus sincère félicitations et congratulations to you all. Merci.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Villeneuve. And you all remember, you have the power to change the world and make it better through your art.